Hey guys, Trouble Cat here, and this is a little bit of Homefront we're playing, and more specifically, this is going to be my first impressions of the game. I've so far played for checking Steam, about 6 hours, which is maybe a little bit more than you need before you can give your very first impressions, but it's just a really fun game. I played this game quite a bit last night, and we're actually going to see two games here. We're going to see one full game, which is this game, where I don't do phenomenally well. I think I went 18 and 11, 15 and 11, something like that. Which is, you know, a pretty average score, really. Just a little bit above 1-1 ratio. And then we're going to see a game where I went 33 and 7, and unfortunately, I didn't start recording until after I was already sitting at 18 for 3. I went on this fucking awesome kill streak. I don't know how many kills it was. I got 5,000 experience and a whole shit ton of camos. So if anybody knows what level of kill streak that indicates, I'd be interested in that. And so I was like, right at the very end of this badass kill streak, I was like, shit, I should be recording this. So I started recording. And so you'll see what I got of that game after this. But so, Homefront, what do I think? Well, you might have seen the video I already put up on my channel of people blatantly hacking, which is, I assume, a problem specific to PC, but it's kind of a biggie. It only appears to be... I saw two different people doing it, and later on I saw... in a Morta, again, just sort of this, like, really shameless hacking, you know, teleporting around the map, killing absolutely everybody, till everybody leaves the game, then he goes to a different game that's populated. I saw this guy in, like, 5 different games, and some of you may be thinking, like, well, you know, I'm not going to get this game on PC if there's a problem with hackers, you know, but I think it'll get dealt with over time. You know, I'm sure people always bitch about VAC, but to be honest, I do find it to be one of the better anti-cheat options. I mean, there's the only other really major one is Punkbuster, but my hatred for Punkbuster is unrivaled for reasons which I'm not going to get into right now. And I think VAC generally does a pretty good job, but they have this delayed ban system where it takes them, you know, a week or two to actually decide to ban people. I'm not sure why that is, if they like to just be really sure, or if they want to sort of monitor the hacks so they can try and figure out how they're working. So what I'm trying to get at is, don't let that discourage you, because what I really think of this game so far is this game is a lot of fun, and it's a phenomenally well-made game, and I cannot fathom why this has been so hard done by the mainstream media. I've read people talking shit about this from both angles, and it all comes down to comparing this game with Call of Duty, which is inevitable in the current shooter market. It's not fair to maybe compare every shooter to Call of Duty, but in the current shooter market, it is inevitable that people are going to want to do that. And I think the problem is, I'm starting to feel that I think the problem is it's maybe a little bit too much like Call of Duty for the people that think Call of Duty is, you know, washed up and dead, and any game even remotely like Call of Duty is shit as a result. It's maybe a little bit too much like Call of Duty for those people. It's, you know, it's sort of a moderately paced game, really low time to kill like in Call of Duty. You know, it's got something kind of like kill streaks, and Battle Commander mode does actually have kill streaks. It's got, you know, leveling up and weapon upgrades and unlocks and all that regular stuff that Call of Duty sort of really brought to the table. But it's also got all this other shit, and it does a lot of things better than Call of Duty, in my opinion. I think this is a much better game than recent Call of Duty offerings. I think this is actually a phenomenally good game, and I think it's pretty bizarre that not that many people are recognizing it. So there's that crowd, and there's also the crowd that wants every game to be Call of Duty. Every shooter to be sort of a lot like Call of Duty these days, because they sort of view Call of Duty as you know, the greatest thing to ever happen to online shooters, which is equally silly as viewing it as the complete anathema to online shooters, in my opinion. And this game is probably not enough like Call of Duty for those people. The differences are probably too severe. So where this game sits to me is, I always felt like in Call of Duty, the really low time to kill that you see, especially in Modern Warfare 2, is kind of out of place, because I always felt like Call of Duty was sort of a more arcadey kind of game. You know, you move quite quickly, the maps are small with a lot of people in them, and I don't like low time to kills in an arcadey environment. It's like you're mixing a sort of semi-realistic time to kill with all this patently ridiculous bullshit, and it just feels off to me, and I don't think it actually makes for enjoyable gameplay. I think things are a little bit too hectic. There's not enough room for actual strategy and tactics. I mean, obviously positioning comes into it, but there's a lot of twitch play, which is important in this game to an extent as well, but not as important. I think the fact that you move a bit slower in this game, and most importantly, the fact that the maps in this game are actually large enough to support 32 people. You know, you're playing with 32 people on these maps, and there will be times when you don't see anybody, and that's good. There's sort of time to maneuver and time to sort of make your way around the map and position yourself, and I don't know, it just, I think the size of the maps in this game is really good, and I've played every map now at least once, I'm fairly certain, and there's not a bad map in this game. All the maps are very well designed. I think they're pretty balanced, and sorry, and they're just nice layouts. Like, I really like the environments in this game. So that's pretty impressive, I think. There's not a lot of maps, but the way they're used, when you play, there's two game types. There's ground control, which is kind of like domination, but in ground control, instead of just one set of 3 objectives, it's sort of a stage thing. So you capture, and then when your team gets enough points, you push the enemy back, and you go to a different section of the map and fight over 3 different points, and it's best out of 3. And so there's sort of 3 areas to the map. And I think that's actually really cool. It gives this sort of feel of progression. I would really like to see a game type where the game doesn't end until somebody is effectively pushed off the map. It could potentially go for a really long time, but it would have been sort of cool to even more push that sort of aspect of this sort of back and forth battle with sort of a sense of movement and progression to it. So in those game types, there's 3 sections to the map, and in TDM, it just uses 1 section of that map, because, I mean, in ground control, you're really only fighting in 1 section at a time. So there's not that many maps, but because they have these different parts to them, and they're very large, I don't think you're going to get bored of these maps that quickly. I mean, I'm sure they'll wear on a bit. I think there's some DLC planned, but my friend said there were going to be 2 DLCs, and they were each going to include 3 single-player maps. I don't know if there's also going to be MP maps in that or not. I will definitely be looking at buying the DLC in this game. I think it's phenomenally well balanced. People have been complaining about the sniper rifles. I think they're fine. It is kind of annoying, you know, you get killed by them and it's some dude on a hill a mile away, and you're like, well, how the fuck did he manage that? But when you actually use them, you realize, if you're that far away, you really need to be going for those headshots, or you need to be getting people who are being a bit silly and running in the open for long enough for you to aim twice. And they don't take cover after the first shot, you know, all this stuff. I think the sniper rifles are actually okay. They could maybe be toned down just a tiny bit, but I don't see what you would actually do to them to tone them down where they wouldn't be completely nerfed. So I think they're actually fine. And the other thing is, all the guns feel really different. The different assault rifles have different feels to them. I like that, and they're all pretty balanced. The Scar L, which I unlocked a bit later, and you'll see me using a bit, might be... It's my favorite. I don't know if it's like the best, but it's definitely my favorite. So far, I haven't unlocked everything yet. I'm rank 18, I think, now. 19, 20, something like that. Anyway. So this game, I think this game is awesome. That's what I'm trying to say here. This game is a ton of fun. The maps are good, the game types are good, it's really well balanced, the meta game is good. There's stuff I could talk about there, like the perk system is kind of interesting, and obviously I haven't even touched on battle points and the battle commander. 15 and 11. I don't think I get any more kills. And I think we lose by 2 kills or something. Or win by 2 kills. No, I think we lose by 2 kills. Look at the score now. I'm really not sure. Maybe not. Maybe we win. I don't know. Man, this game was really close. Yeah, we actually won by 2 kills. They didn't get kills for ages, and we racked up and made it up. That's pretty cool. So now we're going to go into the second game where I kicked a little bit more ass, and unfortunately I didn't get the entire, but hopefully I'll be able to show you some whole games where I do kick a lot of ass as time goes on, because I expect to be putting up quite a bit of commentary for this game. So yeah, this was at the end of like a god tier kill streak. I think I brought up the scoreboard here so you can see. Maybe after I spawn. Yeah, so no, I'm actually 18 and 4 here. So I was 18 and 3 before I died. Anyway, there is one thing that's really bugging me about this game, and that's the player numbers. It's not that I'm having a hard time finding a game, because I'm not. That's fine. I'm you know, perfectly able to get into games, and there's enough people playing. But there's not a whole lot of people playing for a new release game, and what I'm hoping is, because this game doesn't have the brand power of Call of Duty and people maybe aren't all rushing out and buying it on the first day, I'm hoping the player numbers are going to increase, because I really think this is a great game. I really think it deserves to be successful, and I think if you're on the fence about this game, you should go out and buy it. I think, you know, maybe it won't be for everybody. If you want to play Call of Duty, it's not going to be for you. And if you absolutely can't stand anything even vaguely similar tangentially to Call of Duty, it's not going to be for you. But I think this game takes elements of the two big shooters at the moment, Call of Duty and Battlefield, and it successfully meshes them. And I know it's really popular to say this game is a mix of Call of Duty and Battlefield, but I think it's often been the wrong thing to say, and in this case it's maybe appropriate. This game, I think, actually does combine elements of those two games. And I love it. If you're on the fence, go out and buy this now. I'm going to be playing this probably for as long as there are people to play it with, which I hope will be a good long time. It's the most fun I've had in an online shooter in quite some time. And if you're a PC gamer, I know I mentioned hackers before, don't be dissuaded by that. You know, there are hackers in this game. It's gonna get sorted out. It's gonna be okay, guys. It's gonna be alright. They're gonna figure out about the hackers. So I only die one more time, and I get 10 more kills. So that's okay, right? I don't know. I'm not the greatest player in the world, you know. I'll play these games, and I'll get gameplays like this where I get a pretty damn good ratio. And I'll, you know, 33 and 7 is pretty much the highest I ever tend to get. And, you know, I might play 1 or 2 games like this a day if I play a lot. So I'll be trying to upload, generally speaking, sort of my best gameplay, I think. Or I don't know how I'll decide what to upload exactly. It's kind of a funny question. These guys are just having a rough time, you know? They're just tearing through them. I had a lot of fun in this game. It was the first one where I sort of kicked a lot of ass, and I was going, yeah, I can do this. I can definitely do this game. I might upload, the gameplay I might upload tomorrow that I've recorded this morning, I'm not sure, I might get something better, is one where I don't get a stupendous ratio and my team loses, but I lead my team and everybody else on my team has these terrible, terrible fucking ratios. I'm not trying to make myself sound superior, it's just what I observed, and this is something that happens to me strangely a lot. I notice I don't get any more kills or anything. It often seems like I'm on a really bad team, and all the good players are on the other team, and I got 34 and 7. Anyway, I guess I can't finish that thought because this video is going to end. But, that's all for now, folks. Trouble TCat out. Have a good one. Bye, Homefront.